Well, I'm sitting here in the English Bay Suite. At the Sylvia Hotel. And why? Well, because of this real-life cat, which is in these storybooks. In fact, it's a series of books based off of this real-life cat here in this real-life hotel in Vancouver called the Sylvia Court Hotel. And this is the Mr. Got to Go storybooks.
Mr. Got to Go, the cat that wouldn't leave. Written by Louise Simi and illustrated by Cynthia Nugent. And read by Mr. C, the teacher. One dark and rainy night, at the edge of a city, on the edge of an ocean, a stray cat came walking down the beach. Across from an old hotel, covered with vines, the cat stopped. As he looked at that place, he got a strange, warm feeling inside him. I think, thought the cat, I am tired of being a stray cat. He trotted over, jumped up on a window ledge, and scratched on the window. A man whose name was Mr. Foster looked up. "My word," he said when he saw the cat, "you are a sorry, soggy sight." He opened the window and the cat stepped in. "You can stay until the rain stops," he said, shutting the window. "Then you've got to go." Mr. Foster was the hotel manager and was used to giving orders. The cat sat down on the wide windowsill and began to lick the rain off his thick gray fur. He was smiling all over inside himself, for he knew from that moment he stepped inside the Sylvia Hotel that he was a stray cat no longer. Mr. Foster went back to work on his desk, and the wind blew the rain at the window in big wet bunches. Through the door of Mr. Foster's office, the cat could see the cozy hotel lobby with its red striped chairs, soft lights, and gleaming old wood. With a very large sigh, the cat lay down on the windowsill and began to purr. He watched Mr. Foster till his eyes slowly closed and he slept. "What a nice cat," said Miss Pritchett, the night clerk, when she brought Mr. Foster a cup of tea. "Maybe he is and maybe he isn't," said Mr. Foster, "but whatever he is, he's not staying long. As soon as it stops raining, that cat's got to go." And in the morning, when it stopped raining, Mr. Foster put the cat out on the sidewalk and shut the door. A cold wind was blowing off the ocean. The cat shivered and walked around behind the hotel to see what he could see. The back door was open, so he slipped inside and sat in an open elevator, where it was nice and warm. He watched the people hurrying this way and that. Outside, it was raining again. Up on the main floor, Mr. Foster pressed the button for the service elevator. The door of the metal cage shut, and up went the cat. "You again?" said Mr. Foster when the elevator door opened. "We can't have a cat in the hotel, you know." He stepped in and pressed a button. "Oh no, we have no use for a cat here at the Sylvia. Absolutely none. As soon as it stops raining, you've got to go." The cat looked like he was listening, but really he was thinking how pleased he was that his new home had this thing for riding up and down. He liked it a lot. And so every time Mr. Foster put the cat out, the cat came back in and rode up the elevator. He played with the ball of wool at the end of Miss Pritchett's knitting, and she gave him tuna sandwiches from her lunch. Old Harry the bellhop saved him leftovers from the room service trays, and the cook gave him scraps from the kitchen. "Now, don't get too fond of that cat," Mr. Foster would say as he hurried past on some important errand. "Remember what I said. That cat's got to go." Dogs were not allowed in the Sylvia Hotel. One day, when Mr. Foster was working at the front desk, a large lady in a bushy fur coat came in and asked for a room. As soon as he saw her, the cat arched his back, and all his hair stood straight up. "Behave yourself," said Mr. Foster under his breath. The cat hissed. "Oh, I'm sorry, madam. This is a stray cat who just came in out of the rain. I apologize for his bad manners." The lady growled deep in her throat. Mr. Foster was startled. He was a very polite man and expected other people to be polite too. "Well, I can understand your being upset," he said, trying to push away the cat, who had jumped onto the desk and was hissing at the lady. "Grrr," said the lady. "My word," said Mr. Foster, I don't think—" The lady gave a yappy little bark. The cat spat at the lady, and suddenly from between the buttons of her big fur coat, a black furry nose and two bright eyes appeared. The little dog saw the cat and started barking like crazy. The cat flew off the desk and streaked for the windowsill in Mr. Foster's office. When the lady with the big furry coat and the small furry dog was gone, Mr. Foster looked at the cat and laughed. "Well, Mr. Cat, you are a good dog detector. I'll say that for you. But that doesn't mean you can stay. Oh my, no. We can't have a cat at the Sylvia Hotel. As soon as it stops raining—" He peered out the window. It was still raining. It rains all the time in Vancouver. One day, a man came to take some pictures of the Sylvia Hotel. The cat was lying on a red-striped chair in the lobby just as if he were in his own living room, which, of course, he was. He knew that. "You can take a picture of that cat while you're at it," said Mr. Foster. "He is rather handsome, and since they're all so fond of him, it will give them something to remember him by when he's gone." Mr. Foster had the photograph of the cat framed, and he hung it in the lobby himself. And here is actually a postcard of that very photo that was taken by the photographer and hung in a frame in the lobby. It says, "Mr. Got to Go, Sylvia Hotel." And that's the actual cat in this story, real-life cat. The cat really was handsome. He was much fatter than when he first came to the hotel, and his coat shone. After his picture was hung in the lobby, he became rather conceited. There was a small bathroom beside the manager's office, and one morning Mr. Foster noticed cat hair in his toothbrush that hung beside the sink. When the cat went into the bathroom, Mr. Foster crept up and peeked in. The cat was brushing his whiskers, first one side, then the other, against Mr. Foster's toothbrush. "Cat whiskers!" cried Mr. Foster. "Cat whiskers!" he grumbled as he hung a new toothbrush holder and toothbrush high up on the wall. "We can't have these sorts of goings-on here. Absolutely not. This is a first-class hotel. That cat's got to go." Rain drummed the window. Mr. Foster sighed. He left the old toothbrush where it was. One rainy afternoon, a lady phoned down from the 3rd floor to say a raccoon was looking in her window. This upset Mr. Foster. "Thieves!" he shouted, grabbing a broom and running to the service elevator. "Bandits!" he yelled, startling the cat, who was sitting in the elevator waiting for a ride down to the kitchen for his lunch. "Those blasted creatures climb up the vines to the 3rd floor ledge to steal the pigeon eggs. They're always scaring the wits out of our guests." Mr. Foster was so excited that he didn't notice the cat get off the elevator with him. In room 327, Mr. Foster threw open both windows and leaned out, swatting at the raccoon with the broom. While Mr. Foster dangled from one window, the raccoon tumbled in the other window, and the cat jumped on it. There was a terrible uproar as the cat chased the raccoon and the raccoon chased the cat. Around and around along the ledge and through the room they went, in one window and out the other and back again. Fur flew. The lady screamed and jumped up and down on the bed. Old Harry and Miss Pritchett came running. Mr. Foster yelled and waved the broom, hitting everything but the raccoon and cat. And suddenly, they slipped off the ledge and fell, hissing and spitting, down 3 stories to the ground. The raccoon streaked for the park. Mr. Foster leaned out the window and looked down at the cat. He was just sitting down there in the rain. Mr. Foster closed his eyes. He had a headache. Mr. Foster drove the cat to the cat doctor, who stitched him up in so many places he looked like a patchwork cat. "What is this cat's name?" the doctor asked. She needed it for her report. "Oh, my word, his name?" asked Mr. Foster. "Well, he doesn't really have a name. You see, we keep saying he's got to go." Beside the word name on the report, the cat doctor wrote, "Got to go." They drove back to the hotel in the rain. The windshield wipers seemed to be saying, "Got to go, got to go." Mr. Foster looked at the cat. It looked like he was smiling. It's 7 years since that dark and rainy night that the stray cat came walking down the beach to the Sylvia Hotel. Every so often, Mr. Foster says, "My word, is that cat still here? He's got to go, you know. As soon as it stops raining, that cat's got to go." Sometimes the sun is shining when he says it.